I rank where the view is nothing less than phenomenal. For how I express and project from my abdominal. The only view better, both my daddy and my mama know. No living parents, my sons give me balance. My wife is my serenity, this mic is my identity. The world is foul enough, that's why I write without obscenities. Provoking danger with broken language and spoken anguish. Begging to get hurt, why would you ask to go through changes? Yes, Lord, life's a chessboard, master the angles. Control the tempo, be the one who holds the info. Acknowledge is just as deadly as machete swings. When spoken, the truth is as potent as that Medellin. While others swear the style is free, I just let it ring. Our time is undervalued, soldiers make us better kings. My family's on my shoulder, reaching after better things. Today I take the shot, for them I'd rather set the screen.
My mama told me follow my dreams. My daddy told me get it by any means. Stand tall, make him bow to a king. But I've evolved, you can see the result. Look in my eyes when you speaking to God.
Life and for those who be caught up in using what I was called with the muse. I guess they call it proving I'm more than an artist. Penciling out my darkest while stenciling out a harvest. And storing what gets me from A to B, just like garages. Instrumental with collages. Envision what I've been drawing. Broadway to give you rhythm like the great Lena on. So bent on, found comfort in the storm. Find peace and on when you see them others perform. Organized chaos, outcast it like hey ya.
Yo, party people in the place to be. What's good? It's the number one chief rocker in Knicks universe, your main man, Uncle Freezie. Welcome to the Knicks at Night podcast. Y'all want this party started right. Y'all want this party started quickly. Right? Okay. Okay, well, throw your hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care. And if you got some loot and a stick of juicy fruit, somebody say, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Scream. All right. Yeah, y'all. What's good, party people? I see y'all out here. Trini is in the house. Dre Walker is in the house. The Smoking Nick is in the house. Ivory 10 is in the house. The son of the legend, Kerry Cox, is in the house. Okay. I see y'all. Kerry Cox says, salute, dag, everybody on at the same time. Oh, man, look. Oh, yeah. Bro, what? Yeah. I wanted to just talk Knicks, but since you brought that up. What it is YouTube offers a thing of preferred times where all of y'all be on the internet with all y'all looking. So mostly everybody be trying to get on while y'all are on YouTube, right? And so what that does is it seems like it creates a traffic jam, but it really doesn't. Because there are so many Knicks fans on at this time right here. And generally what I was trying to do is trying to avoid the fray. Like come on in the mornings and at nights. But I was like, you know what? Let me try it. Let me see what it's like. Let me come on this time when everybody is on YouTube instead of Kerry Cox said he's using all his phones. Yeah, basically YouTube says Knicks fans are on YouTube Thursdays at 9:00. Mostly y'all get on like 9:00, somewhere between 8 and 10 every day, every weekday. Right? So most people try to get in where they fit in. I hadn't been doing that, but I was like, I'll be watching videos and I was watching videos and whack ass topics with all these views. I was like, so why not, man? Let me get in where I fit in, and then plus it makes it easier for me where I won't have to do like get off of a video at 2, right, and then be right back on at 9:30. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I get it. But listen, I didn't want to just talk about that though, but y'all know, y'all have been around me long enough to know that I'll keep it a buck with y'all. Like I keep it real with y'all. Like y'all ask me a question, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'll you know what I'm saying, speak to some, you know, stuff or whatever. But I was looking, I was like, yo, dang, these topics I had be crazy, be mad vanilla, and like all these views and stuff. And I was wondering if everybody was missing me or missing Blorange Tears or whatever because of time and all that stuff. So just wanted to try something different. Plus, man, I got a lot of personal stuff going on, man. I need to get some sleep. So instead of rocking all the way into the late night hours and then getting up at the crack of dawn, instead of going to sleep at 3:30 and then waking up at 6:15, I was like, you know what? And we just started a little bit earlier on one, because it was either that, or do the Knicks morning drive at like 1 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? My man Kerry Cox says, see where I'm at. Right. Nah, man, I appreciate you, bro. And I appreciate your comments in the chat too, man. Like once we get started and once we get the topics rolling and you be in the chat chopping it up, man, I be appreciating that. Alfonso Scott is in the building. What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? So I have this topic that I want to talk about with y'all, man. And it's the Knicks culture and why it's important. Right? Why it's important. So this is going to be kind of deep, right? Kind of deep. And I'm going to try, when people pop in, I'm going to try to keep them on track. Right? Otherwise is in the house. Woodshed was good, man. Woodshed in the building. What's happening? What's happening? My guy. And Alphonse says, gamblers in the chat, bet the house on the Atlanta Dream Team. Total over 83 and a half, starts in 7 minutes. Wow, 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 wow. Yeah, man. Oh, I forgot my man leaving for. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So I want to talk to everybody about the culture thing. I think the culture thing is important. First of all, the culture thing is important. The culture thing is important because it builds a winning mindset. And I'm talking about a positive culture, right? I'm talking about a championship culture, right? You are gonna need players that buy into a championship and winning mindset, right? And everybody in the championship culture, everybody in the culture is not going to be a star, but it is important for everybody in that culture to play the role to their best of their ability, right? In order to help the greater good win a championship, right? It's important. That's very, very important, right? The role of a championship culture and shaping players' attitudes and work ethic is important, right? It's one of those things where if you have a winning culture, a championship culture, even if you have not won, but you're striving for that, it helps shapes the players and everybody. It helps shapes them into winners. You need that, and you see examples of it all the time with say the Miami Heat culture, When you talk about what's the secret sauce in Miami, it's their culture. It's their culture. Man-child is in the house. Top Notch T. What's good, man? I see you. Top Notch T is in the house. Culture is very, very, very important because listen, if you have a winning culture, you can overcome certain obstacles, right? If you have a winning culture, you can overcome a lack of talent. See the Miami Heat, right? If you have a winning culture, you can get away with a lot of stuff that would otherwise put a mediocre team backwards. Right? And so when you have a winning culture, there's like a psychological impact, right? So there's a psychological impact with a winning culture because teams with a winning culture believe that they can win every night. Teams with a winning culture have like a psychological advantage over their opponents, right? When you have a winning culture, even teams with more talent kind of are like, that team, you in for a dogfight with that team. Shout out to my main man, Rel. We talk Mavs, Glow Yard Gang in the building. Salute to them and all the great work that they do on We Talk Mavs and We So Geeked. Shout out to Rel, man. He got some great stuff going on over there, bro. Y'all check him out. My man provides dope stuff, dope content. Rel, y'all got to go get Karl Anthony Towns, bro, and stop playing. Rel, y'all got to go get Cat. Stop playing, bro. Rel says, and you get the benefit of that from the media. Yeah. I think he's saying the benefit of the doubt. I think he's saying you get the benefit of the doubt from the media when you have a championship level culture, right? When you have a championship culture, now mind you, you don't have to be the champions of the NBA. You have a championship or bust culture. Never say die culture. Never give up culture. No mental lapse culture. Right? When you have a championship culture, players buy into it. Everybody buys into and championship culture, it's easy to plug players in a championship culture because players will redefine themselves in order to fit in. Example, Chris Bosh with the Miami Heat. He was one thing in Toronto, loser, lottery, 38, 41 win team, blah, blah, blah. And when he gets to Miami, he redefines who he is in order to fit in. Salute to Adam. Adam says, you believe this Knicks culture have a championship culture? You believe this Knicks culture have a championship culture? I think they're trying to build it. They're trying to build a championship culture. And to Adam, to further build on what Adam stated, I think the Knicks are taking the approach that organizations win championships and stars don't win championships. Organizations win championships, stars don't make championships, right? How many stars you know on the vast variety of teams in the league don't have a chip? Jerry Fitz is in the house. What's good, Jerry Fitz? Woodshed says teams like Miami, the Los Angeles Lakers, the Boston Celtics, the Golden State Warriors have not just a championship culture, but a championship mandate. Right. And furthermore, they will move heaven and earth to put the team and keep the team in position to win championships. Dolan is satisfied as long as he is cashing playoff checks. So the thing with the culture, with the championship culture, is this. Everything is not going to go right all the time. Every transaction is not going to be clean or pristine, right? Every breath you take, every move you make is not going to be perfect, right? But as a championship team, others on the outside looking in, they see the quest for a championship and they want to be a part of it. Alfonso Scott says, no first round picks in the last 2 years, but wait, I forgot. They value draft picks. Let me put this back. Let me put this back up here, and I'm just gonna say this, right? Well, you know what? I'm not even gonna say it. I'm gonna play it. Okay, Scott, I see you. I see you, Scott. But my thing is though, ultimately, with a championship culture, you don't just get there overnight. You got to build it, man. Right? Rome wasn't built in a day. Right? Rome wasn't built in a day. And the Knicks winning a championship is not going to happen overnight. Right? But I'll tell you what, though, when you start to establish a championship culture, you know what you get? Even when you're not winning championships, once you establish the championship mandate, once it's chip or bust, you know what you get? Now you start to get stuff like fan engagement and city pride, right? Now you get cats like us all riled up because we know it's championship or bust every year. See, because there's one thing if you bust and you didn't try. Now you like, oh God. RJ to the rim. He just threw it off the shot clock. We lost by 17 to the Wizards. Who coming out in the draft? Now that's one mindset. But the other mindset is this. Right? The other mindset is this. Yeah, we lost to Milwaukee in the first round, but we took them 7 games. And in game 4 and game 5 went to overtime. Right? Game 4 and game 5 went to overtime. And even though Milwaukee beat us in the first round in 7 games, they was wiping it. They was like, them Knicks is tough. They just a few pieces away. When they get right, they're gonna be tough for a long time. That's the championship mandate right there. Right? where teams start to fear you. Even when you don't have all the talent, teams start to fear you, right? Teams start to avoid you, like in a 4-5 matchup, they'll start sitting Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell to get the 6th seed and let Philadelphia deal with us and let us beat up on Philadelphia. Just an example. With the championship culture, man, with the fans, we rock all the time on all these social media platforms. But if it was championship or bust for the Knicks right now, man, it'd be 300 people in here right now if it was championship or bust. But we got to get there. But we've got to get there. It's a work in progress. It's Rome wasn't built in a day. Rome wasn't built in a day, and we understand that. We understand that. Now, we don't like it because when you haven't won a championship since Richard Nixon was president, when you haven't won a championship since NASA was faking the moon landing, Jerry Fitz, you know I had to throw that out there, man. I'm just bugging. But when you haven't won a championship, since the Vietnam War era, you don't have as much leeway. Right? So the Knicks are building a championship culture knowing that the odds are stacked against them, that people are going to have the stamina and endurance to cope with, say, a building of a championship mandate and a championship culture, but you have to do it. Jerry Fitz is right. The Knicks haven't won a championship since Watergate, since Deep Throat. Pause. Right? But what a championship culture will do for the city is crazy. You're talking about the economic part. You talk about the social part, us meeting together at games and at bars and in parks, you know what I'm saying, in the city, all over, just talking Knicks. When the Knicks are good, the NBA is better. When the Knicks are good, the entire NBA is better. Right? And we all know that. And honestly, most of us are old enough to understand that all it takes is for the Knicks to be a little bit good, and the NBA is exponentially better. And when the NBA gets better and the Knicks are good, all of a sudden, those players that said the Knicks aren't cool, all of a sudden want to come here to play. All of a sudden, see, when the Knicks are bad, nobody wants to come here because it's a coffee grinder, right? But when the Knicks are good, it's the best place to be. Cause I've listened. No disrespect to these cities, but nobody talks about being the king of Portland. Nobody talks about being the king of Charlotte. Nobody talks about being the king of Detroit, right? Nobody talks about being the king of San Antonio. But being the king of New York, that's a real thing. Chat, y'all understand where I'm going with this? Y'all understand how I'm saying? Like, being the king of New York is a real thing. Being the king of Phoenix is not a real thing. Right? Right? And the reason why I bring that up, like attracting top talent, is because this NBA players, bro, you can only make but so much money. At some point, you want to win. Ultimately, players want to win and make money and be famous, right? But in which order do they want that to be in? Right? Building a championship culture attracts top-notch talent, even when your roster is devoid of talent. Case in point, again, the Miami Heat. Damian Lillard pointed out specifically, he's like, yo, I want to go to Miami. That's it. And when you look at Miami's roster, they don't have Kevin Durant's on it. They don't have LeBron James's, Anthony Davis's. They don't have Anthony Edwards's SGA's on it. They got Jimmy Butler, right? Jimmy Butler's a great player. They have Bam Adebayo. Bam is a great player. They have Tyler Hero. He's a very good player. But they're not the Phoenix Suns. And at the same time, the Phoenix Suns are not them. Because Miami has a winning culture. East Blue Drew is in the building. Kenny Payne is in the building. White Mike is in the building. What's good? Oh, what's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? So when you talk about establishing a winning culture, you're talking about establishing a winning culture, man. Now you're talking about attracting talent. And not just mediocre talent, but now real players want to come here and be a part. Now players really want to come here and be a part. They want to be a part of something bigger. Right? Now, instead of us getting random player, say a Jalen Brunson, who just wants to come here and lead his own team, now they want to come here because they feel like they can win championships. And if you think Knicks fans are divided and always at their own at Knicks and things of that sort, DB is in the building. If you think Knicks fans are just at each other's throats and necks all the time, if you're a Knicks fan and you got to protect your neck, it's because the Knicks hadn't won a championship. When the Knicks win a championship, you'll see the kumbaya. Right? But it hadn't happened in so long. It's so rare that you don't get to see it. And that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but it's true. It's unfortunate, but it's true. And see, and part of the winning culture, part of the championship culture, or like Woodshed 1914 said, part of the championship mandate is the establishment of a dynasty. and I know I'm going a little fast, right? I want to put some of these things out here so that we can have the general conversation. I want to put a framework out here, right? I don't want it to be all over the place. I'm not. I don't want to do the spitting in the wind thing. Since I got the mic all to myself, I want to just go ahead and say these things so that the point won't get skewed or frayed, right? When you are a championship culture, you have things on your side like the potential to become a dynasty. Manchow says, at least I've recollection of the 73 championship. I was too little for that, bro. I was, man, listen, I was a baby. I was a toddler. I was little. I was little. I was too little for all that stuff, man. I was too little for all of that stuff. Right? Too little for all that stuff, but you know, you know, whatever. The smoking Nick is in the building. What's good, boss? Oh, he ain't ready. Okay. All right. At least I don't think he was ready. Let me see. Let me see. Let me try this one more time. All right. You there, boss?
Sorry about that. Yeah, I am. My internet was tripping for a minute there. Sorry about that.
Okay, I didn't know. I didn't know. Yeah, man. So the thing about a championship culture is that you create the possibility, the potential to become a dynasty. It's attractive to players and stars around the NBA. And when I mean stars, I don't mean just star players. I mean star coaches, star executives. When you're attractive, people want to come and be a part of it. And it fills the city with pride, man. You know, we go out and we in Brooklyn at these clubs and bars and parks and events representing the Knicks. The city is filled with pride. The NBA is better when the Knicks are great. And when you put together that winning mindset, players already in the organization are shaping their attitude and work ethic and all that stuff so that they can keep that championship mandate going. And when it comes to those things that I just mentioned, now you're talking about when you bring in young players into this culture. Now the development of these players is never a question. Now it's facts.
So you want us to build a culture to where it's almost like a revolving door, to where like I don't mean it like a revolving door in the sense to where people come and go, but if you come, you get developed properly. So even if you might not benefit us, you'll benefit somebody in the long run.
I don't know what you're asking.
I'm asking based on the culture frame that you're trying to set up.
No, I'm not trying to set up the championship culture. What I'm saying is I think the Knicks are trying to set up the championship culture so that a lot of the things that we often pursue are not as important to us. So right now we don't have a rock solid championship culture. So now we're trying to pursue stars to help cement a culture. And what I'm saying is if you have a championship culture, stars will want to come in and be a part of that.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I understand.
Right.
I understand. Build the culture. It's like build it and they will come type shit. Yeah, I get it.
Right. And so when it comes to that championship culture, you establish certain things like Like you put together the winning mindset, win at all costs, right? Do all the things necessary to win. Put winning at the forefront of everything. Put winning at the forefront of everything. When you put winning at the forefront of everything, players will want to be a part of that, because players basically want three things. They want money, they want to win, and they want to be famous. And if you win as a player, because there's only so much money that you can get as a player. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what's the difference between 50 and a half and $51 million? Right? To them, it's not a big deal. To us, that's $500,000.
Word.
$500,000 for a lot of us would change our life. But to a player, what's the difference between 50 and a half and 51? If they can win a ring by taking 50 and a half over 51, they'd chase that ring.
Yeah. Well, depending on your financial situation, how you manage your money, and the circumstances that you're in, most people would do it if they manage their money right. It just depends.
Right. And Alfonso Scott says Saquon Barkley disagrees. Well, for one, the Giants don't have a championship culture. Not yet.
At this point.
Not yet.
But
not
yet. At this point.
But if they had a championship culture, say for instance, if the Giants had been to the Super Bowl 3 out of the last 4 years or 3 out of the last 5 years, I think that conversation is different. I think the conversation.
Nah. See, being a Giants fan, a person that actually watches them all the time, and not an outside onlooker, I think that it's a lot of reasons that we failed, because we've believed in this mind. We don't get the best talent available as Giants. They always going for the best character available, and the best character available might not necessarily be the best available person. And this is something that we've been doing for a long time, because they keep saying these undertony things like they have to be a Giants guy. So so stuff like that. And little undertonish stuff hurts our football team, because we're not picking the best available players at every position that we could.
Yeah, because they don't have a championship culture.
No. See, the problem is like, boom, grabbing Saquon Barkley when you should have grabbed Josh Allen. Eli out the door. Why are you trying to squeeze one more year out of Eli when the window is closed? It's been closed for years. So now it's closed. You want to squeeze one more year. And I'm not saying Saquon was a bad pick, but ultimately that's what I'm saying, because of the simple fact that you're supposed to grab the quarterback. Then you're forced to get there.
Wait a minute, Smoke. So at what pick did the Giants take Saquon Barkley?
We took Saquon at number 2.
At number 2. You know why y'all had the number 2 pick?
Because we was the worst team in the league that year. One of the worst teams.
Because the Giants were trash. They didn't have a championship culture. That's what I'm saying to you. That's what I'm saying to you.
All right. Because we get Ben McAdoo, and then what's that, Pat Shermer, and bro, once they turned their back on fucking, excuse my son. I'm sorry. Once they turned their back on Tom Coughlin, our franchise was a mess after that.
So the franchise was a mess, and y'all were turning over coaches.
Correct.
So
I'm not talking. You're right about the championship culture. I'm not disputing the championship culture. Yeah. I'm just telling you the reasons why, or the things that partook to why why you have the perception you have at this particular moment. That's all I'm explaining.
Right. No, I know what it is. The Giants and my Bears are in that situation right now, and I'm gonna get back to the Knicks, right? But the Giants basically, and my Bears are in this situation right now. The Giants basically sucked. They didn't have a championship mandate. They didn't have a championship. They didn't have a championship culture, right? And that's why they were picking so high. Right?
Yeah.
But on our Knicks though, the Knicks are trying to build that championship culture. I can't fault them for building it slow, right? I can't even fault them for being patient, right? What I'm saying about this Knicks team is the Knicks have taken a stance. The Knicks have taken a stance that you have to build a culture first before the stars will come, because they had been doing it the inverse for so long, and they figured out that that doesn't work. You're not gonna attract stars here with money, right? It's not. Chat. When's the last time you saw the Knicks attract a bona fide star in free agency here with money?
Freezie, I thought we had 2 bona fide stars already. Jalen Brunson. You know what I'm saying? And like,
You're
matter of
not
fact,
listening. You just talk.
I am listening. I'm listening.
No, you're not. Because I asked the chat. I said, when was the last time the Knicks attracted a bona fide star here with just money? Was Jalen Brunson a bona fide star before he got here?
No. He wasn't. You're right.
Right. You know, and so my thing is, the reason why I asked that question specifically is because the culture was inverse, right? The culture is inverse, where we don't have a championship culture, and we thought for a long time that if you attract a star here, a star can reset your culture. But a culture is not built that way. A culture is built from within. A culture is built from within. And Jerry Fitz says last time it was Melo. No, it wasn't Melo. We traded for Melo. It wasn't Carmelo. We traded for Carmelo, and then he signed an extension when he was, or signed a free agency deal when he was here. But we traded for Melo. The last time we signed, we used money to sign a bona fide star. Amari Stoudemire. And he wasn't even the star we wanted. He was the star that accepted our money. Because at that time, we were wanting LeBron, D. Wade, Chris Bosh. We wanting those type guys. Right? And Fitz, yeah, I agree with you, but that's not what I'm talking about. My question was specific. When was the last time we used money to attract a star here? I know he wanted to be here. I'm not saying that he didn't, but I asked like a specific question. Like when was the last time Brad
we used
attracted
money to it? So you mean through free agency, or you mean through free agency?
Right.
Well, not no.
It's got to be a free agency. It's got to be a free agent. It's got to be a free agency. It's got to be a free agent, because even if you trade for a guy, that guy is already on contract.
No, yeah. So you wouldn't spend big money on him. I think. Well, a person that that's a great question, Freezie. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a good question for the simple fact that, like, we've always grabbed people off their potential and not the fact that they actually are a star and stuff like that. So, you know what I mean? So we've overpaid for mediocreness. You know what I mean? So when you ask when have we actually put our, I can't even think of it.
Right, because the approach was wrong, and this front office is clearly taking a different approach. This front office is taking the approach that you improve yourself within. You improve yourself within, and then people will come after that.
Correct. Sorry about that.
Yeah. So you got some smoke. You got some stuff going on, man.
I'm in the car. No, I'm in the car. I'm moving around and stuff, but I wanted to come through and show some love, man. We ain't spoken in a minute, and last time I hopped on, it was time-ish. So
Yeah. So so ultimately, the thing is the Man, I lost my place. Let me go back. Let me find. Okay. All right.
No, I'm listening to you.
No. No. I didn't say you was. I said I lost my place. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm getting at ultimately though is comparisons to teams with negative cultures and things of that sort is the place where the Knicks had been for a while. And I
Yeah.
think we're finally at a place. I think we're finally at a place where the Knicks are getting away from being LOL Knicks.
Yeah, we no longer a laughing stock. They can't really laugh. They got to take us seriously, and that's a part of a lot of the denial or the come down that a lot of people have been having. They expect us to be a joke, and the front office haven't been moving jokey or finicky because they're not just making any wild, crazy move that people just beg for with not exploring all the ramifications of the move. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not as easy as, oh, just trade this person for this person. You got to understand there's a lot of things that go into it. Matter of fact, these people are human beings, not chessboard pieces. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay. Bam, got that. All right. So when you are a championship contender and you have a championship mandate, certain things are not going to fly.
Correct.
Right. So when you have a championship mandate, right? When you have a championship, hey, Smoke, you distracted the hell out of me, bro. What you doing? You juggling in the car?
No, I ain't juggling, bro. I'm chilling. My bad. But I hear it. When you got a championship mandate, certain things will not be tolerated.
What I'm saying is you got stuff in the background, man. It's distracting to us.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. If you don't, just mute when you're not rocking, and then that way we'll be straight. So when you're a championship contender, right, you are no longer compared to or grouped with teams with poor expectations. Right? When you're a championship contender, you're no longer in that group that exists every year in the lottery. Right? You're no longer in that group that is full of calamity. And your fan base gets excited about that because even though when draft time comes, fan bases generally get excited about the draft, about incoming talent, but at the same time, if you could tell the Knicks they could earn 2 picks, right? And this is for DSJ, right? DSJ, if you tell Knicks fans they could either earn the number 2 pick or the number 29 pick, earn it now, not trade for it, right? Earn it. Which one do you think the Knicks fan base would be excited about, 2 or 29? I'll answer that question for them. I think Knicks fans would be excited about earning the number 29 pick. Ivory, what's good, boss?
Hey, what's happening, fellas? Salute to the chat, salute to the mods, salute to you, Freezie. How you been?
Salute. Yeah, man. Championship culture, bro. I think the Knicks are building a championship culture or attempting to build a championship culture right now to attract star players, right? To establish a good reputation, to establish a win at all costs mindset, so that when it comes time to go shopping for improvement, you don't have to sell star players about the future. You can sell them about the right now. Like, hey,
So
KD, I know you got 2 years left. Man, spend these 2 years getting a chip with the Knicks. You know, we was in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. You the player that puts us over the top. It's a different sell as opposed to saying how much money you can make on commercials in the city even though the team gonna be 35-47.
So I wanna ask. So you saying or not? I don't want to say what you're saying. This is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that like I think we've been treating players different. We've been moving different, not being erratic. And I'm agreeing with the fact that the way this front office has been moving is conducive to a long term goal. It's not conducive to a short term just be nice this season and then be trash next season type of goal. It's a long term goal that'll ultimately get us over the hump. Is what I'm hearing.
Okay.
I would agree. I would agree with that. Not only a long-term goal, but I think it's really more the method and the strategy that has completely changed. And I think you're right, Freezy. We went from an organization that really thought, that old-fashioned way about, weren't we bringing Whoopi into like some of these meetings to meet with players or whatever? We
Yeah,
were
and
talking to them about
Leon and
advertisements and blah blah blah, and we thought if we just had enough money that we could just get anybody, right? And I think
Word.
we learned the hard way that when we had enough for two maxes, they all said no. One after the other said no,
Right,
and I
right.
think that was like the reality check for the organization. And I think that they realized there then that they had to build something, they had to make something. But don't get it twisted. If a star comes available, they're gonna make a move or make an attempt. But I think as far as the long-term strategy, I think it has changed completely. And I think Knick fans might take it for granted, but we were the laughing stock for a long, long time.
Let me put some scaffolding with a point you made, because you made you made 2 points, and I think you're about to get into a third. But let me just put some scaffolding up on the first point you made, if you don't mind. And then that way, the point that you made won't get washed away, right? When you said, "Don't get it twisted," they are going to go after a star, right? The differences, or not the differences, I'm sorry. The difference is when you have a championship culture chasing a star, the conversation is different. When your team is 28-55 or whatever the record, however the math adds up, you know what I'm saying? And you're trying to talk to Luka Doncic about coming. Luka's not coming to a 28-win team.
No.
Right?
No.
And to the point that you made, and to the point that you made about don't get it twisted, they are gonna chase a star, right? The likelihood of you getting two stars together on say for instance, this team is a 47-win team. They lost in the second round in game 6, right? And a free agent small forward is out there. When you court him, you can point out like, hey man, listen, honestly, we were one player away from reaching our goal, and we believe that player is you. As opposed to in previous years, we just out here shopping just for talent. One year we signed Taj Gibson, Julius Randle, Marcus Morris, Bobby Portis, all these guys that probably played the same position all in 1 year, just because we had a dearth of talent.
It's really all the way around, Freezy. Not just how attractive you might look to a player, but really the position of strength when it comes to negotiating with another franchise. You're not coming from a place of desperation. You're coming from a place of strength. Listen, my team is good now. We want your player, because nowadays free agency is not where you're going to get the star. Everybody's traded. So that's why you see none of these teams really trying to clear cap space to the degree that they can afford a $50 million star. They know that guy is most likely going to be traded. So I think nowadays when you're negotiating from that position of strength, it's really more about the team and what they're asking for and et cetera. And of course, you got to be attractive to the player. But I like the fact that we're not just a bottom feeder now looking desperate, trying to get someone to make our identity. We have an identity already before we look for a star to create it for us.
But what makes the franchise attractive?
What makes a franchise attractive?
Yeah.
I think I think a lot more players are looking at long term strategy and like the long term, it's culture. It's 100% culture. It's
Right.
a lot more culture than we once thought it was when we thought it was just money and coming to New York. It definitely is culture.
Right. 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 And I'll be honest with you, the whole cultural thing is a multi-pronged effort continuously. Right.
Right.
So the culture is, for one, for one, a culture of putting championships first. Right. Two, a culture of accountability. Right. Where players know there is it's a level playing ground, a level playing field every time. Right. Also, right, there is a culture with the fans where the fans trust that the organization has winning above everything. And listen, the organization having winning above everything, and the fact that the fans believe winning is above everything else, are two different things. Are two different things. Like, for instance, right now, we could say this organization is putting a championship, winning a championship over everything, but do the fans believe it?
Well, I think that they want to win a championship, but under their terms. That they want to give themselves a shot, but under their terms. They know if they made a couple of these trades here or there and gave up what they were supposed to give up, that we may have had a better chance at winning a championship. But
Right.
I don't think they thought that was a long-term plan. And if it didn't quite get us there, they just didn't believe that was sustainable. So they didn't make the move. So I think they want to get us there, but they want to get us there the way that they think is more sustainable, as opposed to a one shot, and done is my opinion.
Okay. 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 I feel you where you going with that. I still feel like, though, the fans have to trust the organization, right? Because them doing it their way is the way that most front offices are going to try to do it. They're going to try to do it the way that they feel like is best, right? Whether we agree with it or not, they're gonna they're gonna have a plan, and they're gonna try to execute their plan, right? And it's not always gonna be easy to manipulate the landscape. There's gonna be bumps along the way, right? But do the fans trust that? I think that's part of the culture.
I think we're learning. We're getting there. We're getting there. But with results come trust, right? I mean, when you show us results, the fans come around, and I think we've all questioned moves or non-moves that the organization either did or didn't do, whatever. But I think when you win, that tells the fans, hey, listen, maybe you ought to be a little bit more patient. And I even thought about something you discussed at one time, not too long ago, Freezie, about how they're discussing the media or even talking to us and whatever else. After I heard another interview about a reporter and how he's just looking for any little thing to dig the Knicks. Oh, there's a headline. Let me get this. And it was just time and time and time again with the Knicks for over a decade. You mentioned that also, that 2001 period to 2015.
Right.
But let them do their thing. They seem to be on the right track. They haven't made any disastrous moves that are gonna cripple the franchise. So you know what? So far, so good. And I mean, and I'm the first one to say I've been wrong, because I bashed them about either Donovan Mitchell or this one or that one. But the fact of the matter is they're doing it their way, and that when they're getting results, you just have to sit back and and applaud and give kudos where they deserve.
Right. I'm always ready to bash them over Donovan Mitchell. I'm not even gonna lie to you, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm always ready for that. But so they have made mistakes, but they've made mistakes through effort. They hadn't made sleepy mistakes, right? Like the signing of Alec Burks and Nerlens Noel and Evan Fournier were mistakes that they felt like were positives in the beginning, and it comes to show that these players didn't turn out to be the player that they thought they were getting?
I'm not sure if Evan Fournier wasn't the player they thought he was after hitting the most amount of threes ever in the history of this team, then they really didn't evaluate him well, because it wasn't like he was playing great D the year before. So
Right.
I'm not sure why. There always felt like there might be this, at least looking from the outside, that there might be a small disconnect between front office and coaching when it came to players. Whether it was we've seen it with what was his, we just shipped him out to Portland. Forgot Cam. We saw it with Cam, or even a couple of other players where he just wouldn't play guys. We give up a pick and he wouldn't play him. But here nor there, they got a coach that's win now. They're creating a culture that's all about winning, and I think they're following through. And I just gotta I gotta put my foot in my mouth every now and then when it comes to the organization, and just let them do their thing the way they do it until we start going the other direction, and then we have problems.
Well, we evaluate based on the evidence, right? And then when there is more evidence, we have to evaluate fairly. So sometimes what we say may change, and it's basically changing based on the evidence that's presented to us. And it sounds like, oh man, you flippy floppy. No, it means you're smart. Because if you have details and you evaluate fairly, then you can assess fairly, right? But if you assess unfairly, even with the information there, then you're probably just being a hater.
Right. They're not going to do it our way all the time, and no one gets more frustrated than I do especially when it comes to the draft and not really buying in. But the truth is, rebuilding teams value the draft, not win now teams. So. Right. And they know the coach they have. They know that better than ever now. The coach that they have, and he ain't gonna play some young player that is not ready to win, ready to help him win. So,
right.
But we argued timeline, and if you read in the tea leaves, so to speak, you would recognize that the timeline is not for development. We more in a contender mode, right? Right before we get into championship mode. So this is where we at. So the timeline, yeah, we should develop here and there, but if we try to win a championship, we need to have a balanced mix of veterans and new young players. You know what I mean? Or developing players, so to speak.
Right. Okay. So what I'm gonna say to you is to both of y'all is I don't think any of that stuff matters. I think establishing the culture is the most important thing. Right. Establishing because you can go there are plenty. How many guys have you seen in the league that could score 25 points a game and their team always loses?
Right. You see it all the time.
Right. So what I'm getting at is and Smoke knows this too, about how many players you've seen have two guys score 20 points a game. They won't even pass the ball to each other. You know what I'm saying? And like a Darius Miles and Quentin Richardson thing with the Clippers, where they both trying to get theirs. You know what I'm saying? So my point ultimately is no knock on those guys. They're just an example. They put on a great show. But ultimately what I'm saying is, when you have a culture of winning, taking a charge is more important than knocking down 3-pointers. Right? If you take a charge to win a game, but you hit 8 threes and lose, that charge is the most important thing to you because you won. And I think that's what we're trying to get to right now. Where what do you value? Do you value numbers? Do you value endorsements? Or do you value championships?
Well, I'm glad that guys are paid. For the most part, everybody's paid now. So now that you're paid, let's all win. Can we win? That's what we got to. That's the next step, is just winning. Everybody's paid. IQ will get his money. I certainly hope we don't trade IQ unless it's for, another substantial player. And I don't think we will, because we're just stacking talent, continue to stack talent. And there's no reason not to pay IQ. It just isn't. So Keep building this team. And I think if this team plays at its best and we're healthy, I think we could be as good as almost anybody in this team. I think you have a point when you say that we can play like a top 5 team in this league. We can play with a top 5 team.
Right.
If we're healthy and everybody's playing the way they normally play, I don't see why we couldn't. I mean, I think we could surprise people. Could we use another baller? Absolutely. But you know what? Well, let's see how this plays out.
So could most teams.
Right. Exactly.
When have you ever seen a good team turn down talent? Most teams, it don't matter. Who's the champ now? The Denver Nuggets? The Denver Nuggets are the champs, right? If you offered them LeBron James, do you think they turn down LeBron James? No. They're like, come on, LeBron. Yeah.
Speaking of teams, we just don't match up against it well at all. It would be that team. They're just so damn big. They're just huge. So
yeah. Well, we beat them twice in the regular season.
We did. We absolutely did. I think I mentioned that yesterday. I think Dre pointed it out. I said, yeah, but I think what's his name wasn't there. For York wasn't there for one of the games.
The one in Denver?
I'm not sure. I thought he just said he wasn't there for one of them, so I just took his word for it.
Okay. Bro, this team is good, and it's getting better.
We have room to grow.
Yeah. Internally, contractually, I think our backs are against the wall.
Well, and we'll see. This is why I disagree, and here's why. How long have the Lakers been above the cap? How long have every good team been above the cap? It's not preventing them from making moves. The only thing that prevents you from making moves, especially for the really good players, is if you have a lot of bad contracts and you have no draft assets. We don't have any bad contracts. Fournier is expiring this year. I don't care if he's got to sit there the whole year, so be it. That's 18 million coming off the books for next year. That's 18 million bucks. We should not be in a rush to get rid of him for just anybody. So
Right. I feel you. That makes sense. Right? Except the one thing. What about courtesy?
Courtesy isn't an $18 million check. You know what I mean? That's the league. That's what it is. I'm sorry to see it. That's great, but the team can't take a hit to make sure we're courteous. We're on a path to winning. We already so-called did the whole Obi favor, which I call nonsense. We got the value that he was, which was disappointing. But the time for favors is done. It's about winning right now. We got to win and make smart moves as a team and as an organization. And if it means holding on to Fournier, it means holding on to him. We need that $18 million. If we do get an opportunity at a star, we're going to need that $18 million. So it is what it is. Here's your 18 million. Who knows? Maybe somebody might get hurt and he might get some burn. But it is what it is. He's getting his money.
Okay. What I'll say to that is there is some level of courtesy you have to display in order to think about the long-term free agents, because people are going to remember that. And I'm like, yeah, y'all held Fournier on y'all bench when y'all could have. So there's some thing to that, but
I think they would probably. Sorry to interrupt you. I think they might hold that against Tibbs more than they do the Knicks, the organization. You know what I mean? I think they would look at Tibbs, and I don't think Tibbs is going to be here forever. You know what I mean? He'll be,
right.
But I think that would be more of a thing where they look at Tibbs, and the player would even speak of Tibbs as opposed to the Knicks organization. You know what I mean?
Right. All right. So I got like about 10 minutes before I got to jump off, bro. So I want to ask you this. Based off of what you've seen, how close are you how close do you think the Knicks are to establishing the championship culture that they feel like has been their goal and will start to bear the fruit of championships?
You know, the culture itself seems to. I mean, I, I think we're there when it comes to culture. I think
Okay.
we're there. I don't think you can start building the talent and getting the wins of a championship contender until you have the culture, as you
Right.
mentioned. And
Right.
I think we have the culture, and I think now is when the wins, and now is when the W's start stacking on. Now is when the expectations start because we have the culture now. We have the carryover when it comes to the talent, when it comes to the coach, and etc. We have the whole team is still in place. We're supposed to be moving in one in the right direction now. So I think the culture is there. This isn't no one looks at the Knicks now as a place to go as a joke to just build up your value and then step out.
Right.
Build up your value and then go to another team and make money.
Right.
Now it's a place where if they're looking at you as a piece long term. So I like what we got. I like what's going on, and I think the culture's there for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I kind of agree with you on that. I think I kind of agree with you on that. I think we're close. I don't think we're there though. I think we're close enough to say we have a culture, but we're not close enough to say that it's a championship level culture. Right. And the reason why I say that is because you can have a championship level culture and not win a championship.
Sure.
Example,
Sure.
Boston Celtics. Like they have a championship level culture, even though this group does not have a championship. Right. So I think we're close. I think we are probably 1 to 2 seasons of playing together away from being a championship culture.
I think by then we're a championship contender. I
Yeah.
certainly
Yeah.
don't, I think we're contending by then. So,
Yeah.
like I said, I think you have to have that in place to get those guys to that championship level. So,
Right.
I hear where you're coming from. But I think one little move, one little change in one of our players, and I think we're knocking on the door. I mean, I think we're right. I think we're close. I think
What
we're
type
close.
of move? What type of player? What type
Well,
of move?
well, when you look at the guys who get the touches that can actually make a difference, I think it's IQ or RJ. And even though RJ's feet, even though it still looks like he's playing in ski boots out there on the floor,
Right. Right. Right.
even though but there's listen. Was the first guy to say I wasn't a big fan. I'm not. I was the first, but let me tell you something. When you're in sports, when you've played sports, when you've been around guys, there's
Right.
something about dudes that don't quit and dudes that just keep coming.
Right.
And I don't care whether you're in a foxhole, which I've never been. I'm not going to claim to be
Right.
a soldier,
Right.
but
Right.
when you're in a battle of some sorts,
How
especially
about how about sales? You ever been in sales,
I'm in sales. I'm in sales.
bro? You ever? I'll give you and I'm just gonna pause the point right here because Ivory and I are in sales, right? So whatever. I don't want to get into too much personal stuff. Let's just keep it generic at sales, right? I know a guy that drove all the way across town with his gas light on. I mean, all the way across town to make an appointment. The lady got home. People usually knock off like boss saying 5 o'clock. Generally, people start getting back to the office 3:45, something like that, in order to start doing paperwork to submit for the next day to get credit. This dude drove all the way over there at 5:45 with his gas light on, right? Because he would do the stuff that's necessary in order to win. Because his thing with sales was not just how much, it was the euphoria he got from winning, from seeing his name on the top of our sales board, right? Like I would legit come in. It was an older white guy named Jack, right? Older white guy named Jack. Jack used to always Jack used to always come into the office like he just left a windstorm, right? Always come in like he just left. Like Jack, did you? Jack, I ain't sure. I ain't got time. You know what I'm saying? Like he was that dude. He looked like he would remind you of the scientist from Back to the Future. That's what he looked like every day.
Yeah.
Because he spent his time. It's either he was like, excuse me, he was like either preparing to look good for the presentation or preparing the presentation to look good. That was his MO, right? And I feel like until we get some of those guys like Jack that eat lunch in the car, go on his way to an appointment, then I think we won't. I think we won't get there. But I think we have some of those guys on the roster. Dre, what's good, bro?
I'm chilling. How you, Freezy? Salute.
Man, I was just about to get out of here, bro. I was
What's
just
up,
about to
Dre?
hit.
What's up, Dre?
My bad.
I was
My
just about to
bad.
hit the button,
Salute,
man.
Ivory. Salute,
What's up,
salute, TSK. Salute to the chat.
But,
I,
but
I,
what,
go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, but what I love about RJ is he's just if he's the kind of dude that you know's got your back. If you've ever been out at a spot and some dudes start acting up, you know RJ is going to be there. RJ's that
Right.
dude that you turn around and before you can even turn around, he's right there on your shoulder.
Right.
He's not going to stop coming. And yeah, we can say what we want, but I'm telling you, this kid is going to be a flat out, not a star, but a flat out solid starter for a long, long time. He's going to make one slight adjustment. We know that guys that work hard tend to shoot better as they get older in their career, and I think RJ will shoot a little bit better, and it's gonna change the way we look at him. I don't know if those feet are ever going to get any quicker, but when I saw some videos of that Canada game and he was playing D. I got to be honest. It didn't look good. It didn't look good. Even if you look at
They they
the
put him on a smaller guard again. Like you can't check these shifty smaller
no,
guards. It's
no.
just not what he like. They started him at the 2,
Right. Right.
and
He's
and
got
I
to start. He's got to stop asking for that, bro. I think RJ asked for that, bro. I
Exactly.
think that's why. I think that's RJ Barrett thinks he's a shooting guard, bro.
Well, they got him listed. I think they got him listed as a small forward. And when I looked at that team, he's taller than half the team. So I think he's definitely, he's definitely playing small forward for them a little bit, aren't they? Isn't he?
well, I'll say this: his defensive matchup, his assignment was the 2 guard. Now on offense, other teams might put bigger players on him. So like on offense, when he goes on offense, teams might put their small forward on him,
Okay.
as opposed to putting it on like someone like Dylan Brooks or something.
Okay.
It just might be a cross match situation. It might be a defensive strategy that they're putting RJ on 2s or something. But I don't agree with it. I don't think they should do that.
What
But
did you think of that footwork, Dre, out there?
he started out the game actually very rough, but he finished up the game shooting like a very solid percentage. They started running the offense through him in the 3rd quarter, which brought them back in the game. But Dylan Brooks was trash on offense.
If anyone knows where you can find the FIBA stats of these games, please let me know because I can't find a box score to save my
Right. You
life.
can't find nothing, bro. It's weird.
Save my life. I can't.
Well, I'll say it's probably hard to say because it's not like officially logged. This is like it's not even a preseason game.
These
It's
are
an
the warm-up
exhibition.
games.
Yeah, these are like exhibitions.
Right.
So I don't even think they log them, but I'll check. I'll check if I can find it.
I look
Bleacher Report used to send me box scores for Denny Avdija, bro. I know it's possible, bro. No lie. I was tracking Denny Avdija, and they were sending me box because I thought that's who the Knicks were gonna get, right? You know, so I'm like, this looks like Denny Avdija right here. Let me track him. But yeah, man. But let me say this, Dre, just real quick. I'm gonna say this to Dre and to the Smoking Nick too. Recently, after looking back at RJ games, there are times where I feel as if Tom Thibodeau didn't use RJ Barrett to his strengths. And there was a game in New York against the Hawks where DeJounte Murray was killing us from the free throw line extended, right? But Tibbs kept running a play, and RJ Barrett kept being guarded by Trae Young, right? And they would see RJ sealing Trae Young and they would reverse it to the opposite side of the floor and shoot contested threes.
Yeah.
And in that moment, like when you go back and look at it, you're thinking, okay, if RJ doesn't have confidence in his jump shot and they don't have confidence in RJ on offense, then what
What
do
is he
we
supposed to
actually do?
do?
Yeah.
Because if you notice one thing in the playoffs, teams try to put their best defenders on Randall and Brunson,
Right.
and for the most part, like 9 out of the 11 games, RJ took advantage of the smaller defenders that they put on him
Right.
repeatedly.
Repeatedly.
That,
Right.
that's what he
That's
can do. That's what I think. People talk about what does he do well? What is his strength? That's what he does. He takes advantage of mismatches well, I believe. I
Right.
don't think those little dudes can keep it. That's why I think he had that good year where he played a lot of shooting guard because it was a mismatch from the other side. Now he couldn't keep up on the defensive end,
He was a
but
little bit lighter, so he stood a better chance. But if you remember against the Cavs, RJ spent a good deal of time guarding Garland. Garland
Right.
got some of his numbers, but he wasn't like cooking.
Not initially.
No,
Initially, Garland looked terrible with RJ on him.
yeah,
Anybody remember that?
yeah.
Garland
He
looked,
looked hesitant,
yeah,
like
the
he didn't
yeah,
first
want.
game, yeah, absolutely. First game, he looked
yeah,
shook. He looked shook the first game.
yeah, 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 man, yeah, man, yeah, man. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I think initially, but let me say this about RJ, man. I think the criticism of RJ Barrett's handles is overstated. I think the criticism of RJ's mobility is overstated. I think the criticism of RJ Barrett's shot creation is overstated. Now, what I do think is his major flaw, majorly, and I'm telling you, all he has to do is do this, and he can average 24 points a game. Pass the ball.
Right.
Straight up decision making.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Because the reason why he gets his shot blocked is because he puts up shots in predictable situations.
You know,
Yeah,
I wish that RJ definitely needs to pass the ball. And I think our team in general needs to pass the ball. We've 3 years straight, I think, set, very close to the bottom of the league when it comes to assists per game. And not necessarily about assists because,
total
we talk about
passes too.
guys. What'd you say?
Total passes were at
Right.
the bottom of the league.
Right. Also, and guys, I wanted to bring this up, and I don't want to change the subject or anything like that, but I wanted to bring it up because it was a thought that I had, and I didn't know if you guys realize this. But did you know 2 years ago, we were awful 1 year ago. 2 years ago, when we made the playoffs, when we had all those older guys, and we had we had a distributing point guard. We had 9 guys average above 36% from three.
Yep.
9 guys on our team. 9.
Yep.
And that's because I think
You know who the most surprising person was? Derrick Rose.
right.
Hitching the jump shot. But there might be an annoyingly simple explanation for this. When there's no fans in the crowd, your depth perception is a lot easier at the rim. You can focus easier. It's why teams shot better with empty stands and they shot better in the bubble.
Yeah.
Okay, that could be it. That could be it. I also think it was because we had a guy that was 100% focused on distributing the ball, and
Yeah.
he played
Yeah.
35 minutes a game. And Alfred Payton, and we didn't want him to shoot, so he didn't want to shoot. So I felt like we just had a distributor, and even though he wasn't a big assist guy, he was just constantly driving and kicking, not just driving and passing when he got stopped. He was driving and kicking. And I think that just created more passing. And not that we averaged more assists, but I just felt like guys made shots because they were in rhythm. Now we take a lot of contested jump shots. And people say, "Oh, we can't shoot." I think we can shoot. We just take a lot of contested shots or shots off the dribble because we don't have anybody that's really focused on making anybody else better on our team. We have
Let's
guys.
turn RJ into Alfred Payton.
I'm sorry. What you
Because
say?
I mean, I mean, if we're talking about the role that Tibbs values in terms of making a guy a battering ram into the paint, that's
The
what he
kamikaze.
asks.
Yeah.
That's what he asked of Alfred Payne. It's just Alfred Payne had more natural point guard skills, so he had better decision making in terms of when he got into the paint. But a lot of the times, it was just full steam ahead. I'm going to the paint, and either you're going to foul me or something's going to happen. I'm going to sacrifice my body.
He did the same thing to Alec Burks last year. Same thing to
Throwing-
Alec Burks. Remember, Alec Burks would pump fake, put the ball on the floor. You remember Alec Burks led the
Yeah.
NBA and 3-point and ones when he started at point guard for us because he would pump
Freezy.
fake.
Freezy. He shot 40% from three, but 39 from overall.
Yep. That's crazy, right?
That line drive three. That line drive.
That is one of the rarest things. If you shoot a higher percentage from three than overall from the field, that is very hard to do.
Yeah, but he was Vinny Johnson off the bench, though. You know, he was nice off the bench.
He was
Came in
fourth
hot.
quarter MJ for us 2 years ago.
Oh, for sure. But when you're relied to just be that particular thing, it's easier to do that. But when you're being asked to be a point guard when you've never been a point guard
Yeah,
since like college,
that was awful. That was just awful.
Yeah, Tibbs ruined. He ruined everything for us. But with that said, man, I'm gonna get out of here because I got some stuff. There's some stuff. Listen, man, Dre, man, this thing is kicking my behind, bro.
life is lifing.
Yes, it is kicking me in the teeth, bro. Like right now, I'm gonna share with you real quick. Right now, I am working on the business cycle economic performance. Matter of fact, I'll show you what I'm working on right now. I'll show it to you on the screen, and it'll make you laugh, bro. And this is what after until like October, this is what I'll be working on, bro. Stuff like this, the business cycle, economic performance, things over time. Oh my God, bro. That's why when I'm telling you I'm changing times around and all that stuff, just
To accommodate that,
yes,
because that's the bigger thing.
yes, and it's a headache. Hey,
But
Smoke.
there's light at the end of the tunnel. Salute, Smoke.
Smoke and Nick.
Everybody, thank y'all for coming, hanging out with us. I'm gonna get out of here. Knicks Morning Drive in the morning, if the voice can hold up, because I think I got something weird going on. But in the morning, thank y'all.